AI is taking jobs from creators, but can you actually tell the difference between so-called art churned out by a dumb robot and a heartfelt piece of self-expression lovingly crafted by a humble human being? I'm the humble human being, by the way. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to write me a simple song which I'll perform, record, and then send to my friends. But I'll also be sending them 2 of my own homegrown originals, and they have to try and guess which song was written by my AI ghostwriter. If 2 out of 3 of them guess correctly, I'm getting egged. In the face. Here we go, let's see if the technological singularity is imminent. I'm going to try and give ChatGPT as little direction as possible, apart from, quite broad things. We're going to stick with blues rock because that's what I know. Sure, here's a blues rock chord progression that deviates from the typical 12-bar blues structure. Oh, that is interesting actually. You know what? No, I like that. I'm asking ChatGPT to give me everything from the hook to the bass line. Pretty much everything is going to be written by these guys. I want to make it such that if a human person, I want to make it such that if a human actually came along and gave this to a band, that they would get most of the writing credits. Blues is not complete without a decent bass line. It thinks my tab is code. I love asking ChatGPT to write me stories and lyrics because they're always incredibly shit. Thank you, ChatGPT. You have given me chord progression, guitar melody, bass line, and lyrics. The rest is down to me. Oh dear Lord. Let's see how this sounds.
Down the dusty road, I'm bowling on my own, guitar in my hand, feeling so alone. But the music's my companion, keeps me sane. Blues in my soul, it's running through my veins. Got the blues rocking, ain't no stopping. Gonna let it flow, let it take control.
I am so getting egged in the face. My next challenge is to try and write like AI. Oh, there is no way that I am going to be able to convince people that this isn't the AI composed track unless I write some absolute stinkers. I'm not sure if my artistic integrity can manage that. I might just have to accept the fact I'm going to get egg on my face. Let me introduce to you the 3 judges. Andy, David and Ed. All 3 have featured on my channel before, and there are 3 very good reasons why I chose these fine gentlemen to be my judges. And no, it's not just because they have the opportunity to throw things at me. I explained to them the premise behind my challenge, and I think Andy put it best.
You're doing like a reverse Turing test.
Yeah, actually, that's a good way of putting it, yeah.
Because you're trying to emulate a robot to catch me out.
In case you don't know, the Turing test, or imitation game as it's sometimes called, is a test wherein a computer produces something, and if a human comes along and is unable to tell whether or not whatever was produced was by a human or by a machine, the machine is said to have passed the Turing test.
So you've performed it. It's not something which ChatGPT has generated.
Correct. For obvious reasons, I can't tell you my methodology, but I can say I did intentionally try to write like AI.
Okay, that's probably the smart move to avoid having egg on your face.
The first song I sent to them was a piece that I called Feeling Dark. I put together this song incredibly formulaically. I really tried to think, what's the most almost cliched thing that I can do here? What's the most obvious references I can include? And I'm hoping that when my judges listen to it, they will think, I know where that came from, I know where the AI took that from. And that will lean them more towards thinking, maybe this was written by AI rather than a human being. With all that being said, let's get on to the reactions from the 3 judges of Feeling Dark.
Okay.
Feeling Dark coming up.
Feeling dark.
Upbeat Americana.
Sounds like cowboy music.
12-bar blues progression. Yeah. bass line is super simple.
Standing on the street corner, but no one catches your eye. You watch 1,000 faces hiding as they walk
Same
on
pattern
by.
repeats.
You throw the stone and you follow its arc. There are no bird songs when you walk in the park. It's hard to be blue when you're feeling this dark.
Okay.
Okay. Interesting.
There is quite repetitive. The structure seems very similar throughout.
The bass line's super simple. So the bass line easily could have been written by an AI. The only thing I would say is it doesn't sound like lyrics that you would write, just knowing you personally.
I haven't paid enough attention to your lyrical songwriting.
But there's some wordplay in like the lyrics. Like, it's hard to be blue when you're feeling this dark. Is a clever lyrical flourish that maybe an AI could or couldn't do.
That is 100% correct. I can tell you that.
So AI could do it
Yeah.
or AI couldn't do it because it's either AI or
Exactly, yeah.
It's a really nice guitar line. It sounds human because it's sort of bendy. I'm not sure how advanced AI is to sort of really do sort of country western, twang or lap steel. Felt human, and that's partly interpretation and interpolation on your point.
For me, it was most interesting that these guys latched onto the lyrics a lot more. All three guys have listened to a reasonable amount of my music in the past, so it did kind of surprise me that only one of them said it's like, oh yeah, I know your lyrical style, and the other two were like, I haven't got a clue what you do. So, cheers for that, guys. So why these three guys as my judges? Ed is my producer. He's got his own production company, Edward Graves Productions. He also writes music professionally for ITV and places like that. He's coming from a very professional point of view. Judge number 2 is my good friend David, and he's really into music theory and jazz harmony and things like that. A bit of an amateur luthier as well, which is pretty cool. He's not coming at this from a professional perspective, but as somebody who's really into his music theory and his music. And last but certainly not least, Andy. He's a particularly interesting one because he's not a musician. You're coming from more of a computer science background. You'll approach this from a different perspective to a creative individual.
Mm-hmm.
His profession is coding. And so between those two factors, not being a musician but being a coder, that gives him a bit of a different perspective. And that may be interesting to note later in the video. The second song that I gave these guys, I swear to God, I intentionally wrote it to be as bad as possible. The reason for this is I'm again playing into the prejudices that people have about AI-generated art. A lot of AI art will be absolute nonsense and weird, but then get a few weirdly specific things very right and very good. I wrote lyrics that were meant to be complete bullshit. The chord structure is meant to be very jarring, but, and this is important, at the end of the song there's a little guitar solo type thing or a guitar texture which does sound very beautiful, and that was to juxtapose with the bit at the start which was very not. Let's see how my judges fare with this one. And it's called He's Going to Say, I'm Telling You Now.
I was going to say, I'm telling you now.
He's going to say, brackets, I'm telling you now.
Tell me when you're leaving. I'm telling you now.
That's really unusual.
I'm telling you now. He's gonna say, tell me what you're doing.
That bass note. What the hell is the bass doing? That is a super strange juxtaposition. They don't really work. It doesn't sound like a good song. That's great. I like the lead guitar line. That's cool. Very nice. Okay, now I'm into the song. I like it now.
All right. At no point did he actually say any of the things that he said he was going to tell anyone.
Instinctive judgment, I would say this one is AI.
The third and fifth chords in that one third and sixth were interesting choices.
There's a kind of thematic blue balling going on. Like, I'm sorry if you really did put like your heart and soul into these songs, and I'm just saying something very bad about a song that you care for deeply.
The third and final song is, of course, Blues Walking, which you heard at the beginning of the video. Again, the reason why I was convinced afterwards that it was going to be cut and dry, that my judges would work out immediately which song was AI written, which is how boring it is. I intentionally tried to jazz it up a bit when I recorded it, but I don't know. It was just so... It was the most forgettable song that I had ever had a part in. Nonetheless, I sent it to them. I'm not going to show you them listening to it because you've already heard everything you need to hear about that song. I'm just going to go straight to their reactions and their commentary after the fact.
That sounds like when you're trying to parody a country song. Get the most generic stuff that you can thrown together.
I mean, it's generic, but the lyrics are interesting enough, so...
So there was only rhythm in that. There wasn't like a little solo.
There was. It was at the start.
Sorry?
It was at the start.
Oh, was it?
It just like plodded along.
It easily could be AI because it's pretty bland.
You know, you get those fridge magnet words, and you're just like swooping them around, putting them together to make sentences.
I'm leaning towards that being an AI more than feeling dark, to be honest.
It's fine, you know, it's fine. It could have been written by AI.
Because like musically, like I have no idea. None of them are mind-blowing. None of them were like obviously terrible or AI-esque. So I'm just trying to figure it out
that's
based
interesting.
off of lyrics.
You look so concerned.
Well, I don't know the answer.
I'm gonna go with Blues Walking. I think the lyrics made less sense to me, but there was some rhyming in there.
Gut feeling saying he's going to say is probably the AI one. I would have picked such weird chords though.
This is really interesting. The computer scientist got it right. The musician did not. We have one more musician. If he gets it right, I'm getting egg on my face.
If I knew you weren't sort of purposefully trying to come in and write like a machine, I would have easily said, he's going to say, I'm telling you now, it was written by AI. Feeling Dark, I really, really think is you. I hope, because it's really good. Blues Walking is my other pick for AI. It's really generic and bland. Basic, sort of middle of the road, 70s Jackson Browne Americana type song. I'm not sure.
The following comedy sketch featuring the results of the challenge was written entirely by ChatGPT and performed verbatim. Also, my kitchen is like 1/3 of the way through renovations. It's a damn mess. Please don't judge. Two friends, Wild and David, stand facing each other. Wild looks nervous whilst David holds an egg, grinning mischievously. All right, I admit it, I lost the bet. The audience chuckles, anticipating the impending egging.
Oh, and you know what that means, right?
He raises the egg, making exaggerated cracking sounds. The audience laughs. Come on, David, let's be civil about this.
Sorry, buddy. Rules are rules.
He brings the egg closer to Wild's face.
Wait, before you do that,
David pauses, egg still in hand, eyebrows raised in curiosity.
let me make you an omelette.
What? Why?
Because, my dear friend, I didn't lose. I won. And there's no better way to celebrate than with a delicious omelette.
You had me going there for a sec. Alright, let's do it.
Besides, who needs egging when you can have an omelette party?
They share a high five as the scene fades out, leaving the audience chuckling at the unexpected turn of events.
Because, my dear friend, I didn't lose. I forgot the line! Oh, we're doing so well!
Take 5. Almost did that.
Can we do pre-break them? I won!
Or just a, I won! Let's do it.
Who needs egging when you can have a delicious omelette? It's all over me.